Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you a 2012 team preview for the Houston Texans. Let's start with their offense to see what we can expect in 2012. I think right now the most valuable player for the Houston Texans has to be quarterback Matt Schaub. In the media right now, everyone is so focused on throwing labels and slapping labels on everybody. Is he elite? Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he a future Hall of Famer? Is he great? And just are missing the appreciation of Matt Schaub and what he brings to that Texans offense. You have to remember, when he was back there at quarterback, this team was 7-3 and steamrolling toward home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They were a very tough team to beat. He's back healthy now. The offensive line is better. The receiving core has improved a little bit. The running game is always there. And as long as Matt Schaub is up there healthy and 100%, this team will be a very dangerous team to deal with. Matt Schaub is a very good quarterback, in my opinion. You can make a legitimate argument that the Texans have the best running back tandem in the league. You look at Arian Foster, over 1,200 yards last season, and what I like about him the most is his vision. His vision allows him to see the cutback lane, and he has that elite acceleration to burst through a hole, which is why he's always ripping off long runs. Then you look at Ben Tate, a different style of back, has the same type of one-cut downhill slashing style of bruiser, but has surprising breakaway speed. And you get these guys together, and now it makes it tough for a defense to defend the Texans' running game. You look at Ben Tate, a guy that had 942 yards last year at 5.5 yards a carry. Again, you look into this season, this is a team that's dangerous on the ground. If both these guys get going, it's a tough out for any team that's trying to face him. And they have a great fullback, in my opinion, in James Casey. Not because he blows open holes, it's because he's a versatile receiving threat. Former tight end, gives your offense a lot of versatility in the backfield. The Texans still have a premier wide receiver out there in Andre Johnson. This guy is quite possibly one of the best receivers in the league. All he does is make plays down in, down out, tremendous hands, exceptional acceleration, and has the size that you want to wall off defenders, and is always making the tough catch. He missed 9 games last year due to injury, so hopefully he can come back and be healthy. But the way he works out, the way he attacks the game, there's no doubt in my mind this guy's going to come back at full speed and help out this Texans wide receiving core. The questions I have about the core is the number 2 guy. Kevin Waltz is a guy who comes in, plays solid football, does a great job, but he doesn't have those splash plays. He doesn't really draw coverage away from Andre Johnson. I'm sorry. And you also look at the 2 rookies they bring in. They bring in Keyshawn Martin. In my opinion, I think he's a lot better than DeVere Posey. Brings a lot of explosiveness to the table, brings a lot of kick return and punt return ability, but how well will he fit into this offense? He's going to be the guy that's going to probably run those underneath routes, those crossing routes, and help open up more opportunities for Andre Johnson. But this is a tight end driven offense. You have to like Owen Daniels, one of my favorite players coming out of Wisconsin, and also another Wisconsin tight end in Garrett Graham. He's going to be replacing Joel Dreesen, which some thought was a huge loss to this offense, but the Texans knew what they had in Garrett Graham. I think he's ready to take over the reins that has the number 2 tight end in the Texans offense. The Texans suffer a huge loss in the offseason, losing tackle Eric Winston to free agency. He was a right tackle, but the left side of the Texans offensive line is still intact and still one of the strongest in the division. Dwayne Brown right there, number 76. Very good job of protecting the blind side of Matt Schaub and company. Pro Bowl center Chris Myers is coming off his best season, does a great job leading that offensive line. And I like what I see out of Wade Smith, big, nasty guard on the left side. Left guard does a great job of opening up holes in the running game. Now, the right side of the line of scrimmage is where you have some questions and some battles that are going to take place in the offseason. You look at right tackle, right guard, Antonio Caldwell. He has some injury issues, started 13 games before. Rashad Butler, the right tackle, also has some questions. He finished on IR. Look for 2 rookies to make an impact. Brandon Brooks out of Miami of Ohio and Ben Jones out of Georgia. Both guys may end up starting this season as rookies, and it won't be a bad thing because both guys can actually play. But don't count out second-year tackle Derek Newton. He's also in the mix for the right tackle position. So there's a 3-way battle going on the right side of the line of scrimmage to settle 2 positions, the right guard and the right tackle. The Texans' entire front seven last year played like they were using bath salts. When you look at these guys, they consistently cause havoc for everybody. But let's talk about the front three. When you look at a 3-4 defense, normally the job of the front guys is just to occupy double teams, get penetration, free up gaps for the linebackers to get to the QB. But these guys did a great job of pushing the pocket and also rushing the passer. J.J. Watt, you see right there, 5.5 sacks as a rookie, had 3.5 sacks in the playoffs and that touchdown. So this guy made all rookie teams. You look at Antonio Smith, another guy, very good player, led their defensive line, had 6.5 sacks. And nose tackle Sean Cody, this guy, normally the nose tackle's job is to make sure they command a double team, but this guy is not asked to do that in his defense. And they add a young rookie, in my opinion, in Jared Crick, another guy that's on bath salts that can get to the quarterback, cause all kinds of havoc. If he's healthy, if he checks out medically, this is going to be a dangerous defensive front three in a 3-4 defense. Rarely do you say a team loses a guy the caliber of Mario Williams and get better. And I think the Texans got better by losing Mario Williams. Actually, they played the majority of the season without him, and they were able to get to the quarterback in record numbers. You look at guys like Brian Cushing on the inside, tremendous leader on that defense. This guy's energy is contagious and is always around the football. You look at Connor Barwin on the outside. Finally, we're in a position to make tremendous plays, and he had 11 sacks last year and very stout against the run. One of the strongest run defenders I've seen in the 3-4 defense. Also on the outside, Brooks Reed. I remember covering him in the draft grades last year and saying this guy was going to be a player, and he was a tremendous player coming off the edge for that Texans defense. This year, you add a pass rusher, a guy that specializes in getting to the quarterback, in Whitney Merciless out of Illinois. Yes, some say he may be a one-year wonder, but listen, this guy can get to the quarterback, and you put him in a situation where that's all he has to do, and he will perform. So I like what they bring to the table. Brady James also comes over from the Cowboys, comes into that defense and provides leadership and also depth. And keep an eye on inside backer Darryl Sharpton. He's going to be finally healthy, so look for him to have a solid year this year for the Texans. What a difference an improved front seven does for a secondary. 2 years ago, the secondary of the Texans was one of the worst in the league. Kareem Jackson was looked at as a bust. Last year, he raised his level of play tremendously, played very good all season long. How big and how huge was the Jonathan Joseph signing from the Cincinnati Bengals? That was a great pickup by the Texans. He made the Pro Bowl last year. Safety play is going to be solid again this year, in my opinion. Daniel Manning and Glover Quinn. Quinn has to make some improvements. He moved from corner to safety, so you can see some progression there. And I like the depth of the Texans secondary. I mean, guys like Brandon Harris in his second year, Shiloh Ko in his second year, and also keep an eye on Rock Carmichael coming off injury reserve, another good player. And safety Quentin Demps provides versatile depth. He can play free or strong, so I like what I see so far in this young offseason from the Houston Texans secondary. But there's a bunch of reasons to be optimistic for the Houston Texans. You look at the solid running game, one of the best running games in the league. You look at the defense, one of the best defenses in the league. You look at it, you have a premier wide receiver, excellent tight ends. You just need the quarterback to stay healthy. And when he's out there, you're a 73 football team. You're a very good ball club. So there's a lot of optimism right now for the Houston Texans. And rightfully so, this team is one of the better teams in the league. I have very few concerns about the Houston Texans, but a couple that stand out is the lack of big play receivers opposite of Andre Johnson, the health concerns of Andre Johnson and Matt Schaub, and the special teams. Those are the only concerns I have about a Texans team that comes into 2012 with a lot of hope. I have the Texans finishing first in the AFC South. By far, this team has the least amount of holes in the division. And if you look at it top to bottom, may have the least amount of holes in the NFL. So this is a team, running game is in place, defense is in place. Special teams is another question mark, but can improve. They did a great job of drafting a guy to replace Neil Rackers. But overall, running game, defense, healthy quarterback play is a big plus for a team. And if the Texans can stay healthy through 16 games and have minimal injuries, it could be a super season this year in Houston.